Next season is going to be weird. There are some new faces and new places that were not expected, and we'll see how the coronavirus affects the league. Today we're going to be talking about the AFC's top 5 teams to make a Super Bowl, plus 2 sleepers for the AFC. And number 1, it's obvious. They just won the Super Bowl. It's Kansas City Chiefs. They're high-powered offense. They just drafted a running back first round, which is exactly what they needed. They have one of the best wide receiving cores in the league, one of the best tight ends in the league. Good offensive line. Average to a little bit above, tiny bit above average defense, because they got Tyrann Mathieu, Tre'Davious Ward, Rashad Breeland, Frank Clark, Chris Jones, and yeah, they have a good group, They also have one of the best kickers in the league, some of the best returners in the league, so their special teams is good too. They just won the Super Bowl. This is the obvious pick for number 1. You could say the Ravens, but I got them at number 2. Now, going on to the Ravens, obviously they have the MVP of last year, Lamar Jackson. They have Mark Ingram. They just drafted J.K. Dobbins, Marquise Brown, Willie Snead. They drafted Devin Duvernay, Miles Boykin, Mark Andrews. A great offensive line, except Marshall Yanda retired, which is huge. That sort of downgrade on the offensive line from a potential Hall of Fame guard in Marshall Yanda to Bradley Bozeman and DJ Fluker in the guard spots could be problematic for them, but they're fine. They have an outstanding defense, and they stole Calais Campbell from the Jaguars for, I believe it was a 5th-round pick. They just drafted Patrick Queen, who's from LSU. They have Marlon Humphrey, who I talked about in my first video. Earl Thomas, Marcus Peters, Chuck Clark at safety, along with Anthony Levine, strong safety. They just have a good defense all around. They have the best kicker in the league, one of the best punters. The kick returner, I did not know, and punt returners, DeAnthony Thomas. Don't know when he got there. But yeah, no. Their offense is obviously one of the best running offenses in the league, with the ability to go deep with Marquise Brown and Miles Boykin and Mark Andrews. And Lamar Jackson's going to have a lot of time to run around. I mean, he's not going to stay in the pocket. I don't know why I was about to say in the pocket, because it's Lamar Jackson. Mark Ingram's a good running back. We'll see how J.K. Dobbins does in the NFL. Now that leads us to our 3rd team. It's a bit of a surprise for most people, probably. I have the Buffalo Bills. Hear me out. Last year they were 10-6, second in the AFC East, but the Patriots downgraded a lot, which hurts me to say. They lost a lot of key free agents like Jamie Collins, Kyle Van Noy, and Tom Brady. The Bills only did one thing, which is get better. They have Josh Allen, one of the best up-and-coming QBs in the league right now. Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, and TJ Yeldon at running back. Their wide receivers are Stephon Diggs, one of the best in the league. John Brown had over 1,000 yards last year. 2 times in his career he's had over 1,000. And Cole Beasley. Literally a worse Julian Edelman. Slot, wide receiver, white, 5'10", 5'11", 5'9", somewhere around there. Basically just a worse Edelman. And their offense is great, except for their tight ends, Dawson Knox. He's second year. We'll see how he does. Their offensive line is not bad at all. They have Mitch Morse. They have Quinton Spain. They have Dion Dawkins. They have John Feliciano. Don't know who that is. They have Cody Ford, who I've barely heard of. Their defense is spectacular, though. Levi Wallace, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, one of the best ball-hawking safeties. Tremaine Edmonds, a good linebacker. Jerry Hughes, Ed Oliver, Star Latulele, and Trent Murphy. That's a really good pass rushing group, really good linebacker group. I don't know what else you can ask from the Bills. I mean, they're just proving to everyone that how good they are, especially last year when they were not even expected to make the playoffs. And then they went 10-6 for the 5 seed. Obviously, 5 seed isn't amazing, but when you have the Patriots in your division, to even make the playoffs like that is pretty outstanding. They have good special teams too. Not that great, but Hauschka's not bad. And I don't know who their punter is. Corey Bajorquez, name I've never heard in my life. But yeah, the Bills, just their defense is outstanding. Their offense is going to be a great passing offense and a good running offense with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. I just don't see how they'll be able to be stopped in offense. Not to the caliber of the Chiefs, ability to not be stopped. But like with Josh Allen's ability to throw deep, Stephon Diggs and John Brown able to go deep, and then Cole Beasley being the intermediate and short guy, Dawson Knox will see whatever he can do. I don't know much about him. All I know is that he was kind of fast tight end. He's good at receiving. I'm not sure about run blocking because I don't watch the Bills and I don't know much about Dawson Knox. But I think he kind of has potential just from what I saw. I did see him a couple times last year as a receiving tight end. I don't know what he can do in the run game, but we'll have to see. But yeah, the Bills have a strong case to make the Super Bowl with their improved offense and their already spectacular defense. And now 4. I'm not confident about them making the Super Bowl. 4 and 5, I'm not confident at all. But 4, I have the Texans. We don't even have to talk about their Hopkins trade. That was awful. Like, David Johnson a second for Hopkins. Another pick. I'm pretty sure Cardinals also gave up a later pick. So their offense goes to Sean, David Johnson, and Duke Johnson. Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, Kenny Stills, Randall Cobb, Darren Fells, Laramie Tunsil, one of the best offensive linemen in the league. And then the rest of their offensive line is average. Their defense, obviously, is good. They have J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless, Benardrick McKinney, Zach Cunningham, Gary and Conley, who's Brendan Scarlett, who had a not bad season last year, and Justin Reed and Bradley Roby, and Vernon Hargreaves as a bench corner. But, like, their big issue is the secondary. Obviously, Gary Conley and Bradley Roby as their number 1 and 2 corners isn't going to cut it in this type of league, especially, like, in their division. They have A.J. Brown to go up against. They have T.Y. Hilton. They have D.J. Chark. Like, I just don't think those guys are good enough to be 1 and 2 corners. Maybe Bradley Roby could be a second corner. I don't know about Gary and Conley, though. I'm not really confident in him. So, yeah, I don't really have a lot of faith in the Texans making it. But, in my opinion, they're just the 4th best team to make it. Just because of their success last year. Although Hopkins is gone, they have a lot of depth at receiver now. They have Kiki Kuti as a backup. They have Randall Cobb as a backup, technically. Well, it depends. Are they going to start Cobb or Stills? I mean, we'll find out. They have Brandon Cooks, speedy. Will Fuller, obviously speedy. Kenny Stills, speedy. They have a speedy offense. There's fast offense. Speedy is a weird word. David Johnson is injury prone, so we'll have to see how he does. Because if he gets hurt, Duke Johnson cannot be a workhorse back. And then they have Deshaun Watson, one of the best QBs in the league. He's up for a big contract. He's a winning quarterback, tell you that much. Ever since he's gone in the league, he's just been winning. And yeah, that's number 4. Number 5, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Offense is Big Ben, James Conner, Juju, James Washington, Deontay Johnson, Ryan Switzer, Eric Ebron, Vance McDonald, Zach Gentry, Alejandro Villanueva at left tackle, Steven Wisniewski. All right, that's a weird name. Marquise Pouncey, one of the best centers. Right guard is David DeCastro, one of the best, debatably the best right guard, except for Zach Martin. Then Matt Filer, who I don't really know much about. They have a good offensive line with at least 2 Pro Bowlers, debatably a third with Alejandro Villanueva. Juju Smith, I talked about him in a couple videos ago, saying he's not a number 1 wide receiver. I kind of want to take that back because he could be, but last year with the bad quarterback play and him getting injured, there wasn't really much you could ask of him to do except for be average, because having Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges as your quarterbacks is not going to take you far. James Conner's also injury prone, but they have a great backup in Jalen Samuels and Benny Snell. I feel like Jalen Samuels may or may not be better than James Conner, but also, no, he's not. James Conner just gets hurt a lot. That's the only reason why I could say Jalen Samuels could be better, because he's more healthy and not injury prone. And then their defense is really what makes them. Obviously, they have Minka, they have Terrell Edmonds, they have Joe Hayden, they have Steven Nelson, they have Mike Hilton, they have Bud Dupree, who's really good, Devin Bush, who's really good, Vince Williams, TJ Watt, who is second defensive player of the year, Cameron Hayward, who's amazing, Dan McCullers at nose tackle, don't really know much about him, and Stephon Tuitt. Their special teams, Chris Boswell, really good kicker, Jordan Perry, a good punter, and returners, Deontay Johnson, James Washington. Their special teams can really save them, too, if they needed to. I mean, Chris Boswell can make kicks. Jordan Berry can, pin you. And you have 2 good returners who can take it back at any moment, especially Deontay Johnson. But, yeah, their defense is just too good to even consider them not a part of this. So, I'm going to flip the Steelers and the Texans. I'm going to put Texans at 5 and Steelers at 4, just because I feel like the Steelers' offense is not as good as the Texans, but it's not too far behind. But the Steelers' defense is above and beyond the Texans. But yeah, so I'm going to put the Steelers at 4 now and Texans at 5. The Steelers probably won't win their division with the Ravens being there. They have a chance. And now on to the 2 sleepers. First one, team made the conference championship last year. They just re-signed their quarterback to a huge extension, which is really dumb of them. Should not be on that much money. I've talked about the Titans, obviously. And then Derrick Henry was franchise tagged. They have Ryan Tannehill. They have A.J. Brown, really good young wide receiver. Corey Davis, bust, but he's not a bad receiver by any means. He's just not worth the pick that he was taken with, being number 5. Adam Humphries, a great slot receiver. Another 5'10" white guy, one of the Pats type of guys. We have Johnny Smith at tight end. He's very young. He's up and coming. He just didn't play much because of Delaney Walker, except he got injured last year. Delaney Walker did. They have Taylor Lewan, good offensive lineman. They have Roger Saffold. They have Ben Jones. Ben Jones is pretty good. Nate Davis, don't know him. Isaiah Wilson is the replacement for Jack Conklin, who went to the Browns. And the Browns also drafted, which one did the Browns draft? Was it Tristan Wirfs? Was it him? Oh, no. Jedrick Wills then. Jedrick Wills Jr. He went to the Browns also. I could have put the Browns in one of these spots. Decided not to, just because I'm not trying to overhype them. Browns are my 3rd favorite team, but I bandwagon Jarvis Landry wherever he goes. He's my favorite player. That's why they're my 3rd favorite team. I don't really care much about any of the other people on the team, except for Nick Chubb. Also like Denzel Ward, but again, it doesn't matter. And then their defense is really good. They have young Jeffrey Simmons going to his 2nd year. Daquan Jones at nose tackle. Isaiah Mack, I don't know who that is. Maybe he'll be good, but I just don't know much about him. Vic Beasley, he had a good 2016 year, led the league in sacks. Then he's kind of fallen off since, but we'll see if a new team, a new system can get him going again. Jayon Brown, who's pretty good in my opinion. I think he'll be one of the best inside linebackers in the up-and-coming years. Rashaan Evans, same thing. I think he could be a great inside linebacker for the Titans. He had a good rookie year, too. Harold Landry, who by no means is bad. He was like the 20-something pick in his draft. I think he'll be good. Harold Landry didn't have the best rookie year. He had a good sophomore year with 9 sacks. And I think he'll be one of the best pass rushers to come when he gets a little older, develops a little more, gets, less attention in this defense. With Jeffrey Simmons there and Vic Beasley, Rashaan Evans and Jayon Brown can also blitz, rush the passer. And then they have corners, Malcolm Butler, who's on the opposite, like the bad side of his career. He's kind of fallen off ever since he left the Patriots. He didn't have a horrible first year with the Titans, but besides that, he's been all right. Kenny Vaccaro, who's an average safety. And then they have Kevin Byard, one of the best free safeties in the league. And then we have Adoree Jackson, who we do not really know much about because he's been behind Malcolm Butler, Logan Ryan for a little bit. So he was a first-round pick a couple years ago. He's a great returner, I know that. But, he actually hasn't really even returned in the NFL. He's 4th on their depth chart right now for punt return. So, but I know he's a good one. And he's fast. He can cover in man. And yeah, and then they have Jonathan Joseph at backup corner. So, I mean, their secondary's deep. Malcolm Butler's alright, though. Kenny Vaccaro's alright. But besides that, Kevin Byard's good. I think Adoree Jackson will be good. And Jonathan Joseph has proven throughout his career that he is good. He'll be their 3rd corner. And, yeah, overall, their defense is pretty good, especially against the passer. Their offense is mostly based around the run, obviously. But Ryan Tannehill can air it out. It's just, when you pass 17 times in 2 games in the playoffs, people start to make fun of you. But he can. He definitely can. It's just they just didn't have him do it in the playoffs because Derrick Henry was unstoppable. A.J. Brown, I talked about him in the NFL Under-25 offense. He's amazing. Corey Davis is all right. And, yeah, I think A.J. Brown will have a breakout year. We'll have to see, though. But, yeah, so our last team is the Denver Broncos for a sleeper. 2nd year Drew Lock, he will have a sophomore jump. He went 4-1 in his only starts last year. I think he's going to be great. Running backs, they have Melvin Gordon, Philip Lindsay, and Royce Freeman. That might be the most talented running back group in the league. Royce Freeman, is good, but he's been wasted in his career as a backup. I think he can start on teams. Then at wide receiver, they have Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, and Deshaun Hamilton. 2 rookies, first and second round pick on wide receivers. I think Jerry Jeudy will be good. I think KJ Hamler won't have as good of a rookie year, but he'll be good down the line. Noah Fant is up and coming tight end. He's going to be a star. Garrett Bowles is trash, and the rest of the offensive line is the left side of the offensive line is pretty bad. Their center, I don't know who Lloyd Cushenberry III is. If you know who he is, comment down below. Call me stupid, but sure. And then right guard and my tackle are good. Graham Glasgow and Jawan James. Glasgow just came here, I believe, from the Titans. Then they just signed Jarrell Casey. They have Mike Purcell, Shelby Harris, Von Miller, Alexander Johnson, Todd Davis, Bradley Chubb, who missed almost all of last year with the ACL tear. Don't know who this corner is. Isaac Yiadom. They have Bryce Callahan, who's going to be good. I feel like Kareem Jackson, who's not bad. Justice Simmons, one of the best safeties in the league, and AJ Boye, a proven lockdown corner. They have a good kicker in Brandon McManus. Don't know their punt returner. And Sam Martin, who's a good punter. Also, the Titans have one of the best punters in the league. I should have said that earlier. But, yeah, AJ Boye can lock people down. Justin Simmons, great in coverage. Kareem Jackson, good in coverage. Isaac Yiadom, no idea. Bradley Chubb, great pass rusher. Von Miller, great pass rusher. Jarrell Casey, good pass rusher. Shelby Harris, not bad pass rusher. Todd Davis, a good inside linebacker. Alexander Johnson, is a good inside linebacker. So, yeah, I feel like their offense and defense are both balanced. I don't feel like either one is particularly better than the other. But I feel like they're going to make the playoffs as like a 6-5 seed. Definitely a 6 seed. Oh, no, there's 7 now, isn't there? All right, whatever. They're going to make the playoffs as one of the lower seeds. And I feel like there's no way that you can really count them out just because of how good their defense is. They have a good offense. But in reality, it really depends on how good Drew Lock really is. I think he'll be good, but we'll have to see. He only had 5 games last year. But the consensus right now for most people is that Drew Lock's good, and I agree with that. So I feel like he'll be good. I feel like he'll lead this team to at least 9 to 10 wins. But hey, 9 wins can get you to the conference championship with the Titans last year. Maybe it can get you to the Super Bowl too. Thank you guys for watching. That's my opinion on who will make the Super Bowl in the AFC.